Welcome to another episode of Millionaires Are Made, where we believe you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. That's right. On this show, we share tips to improve your physical, intellectual, social, spiritual, financial, and your mental health. Today, we're focusing on how to improve your mental health with love. My. What a great question. What a great topic. Love and mental health. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made before, this is a show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't. There's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. And in the spirit of authenticity, we do not talk to our guests about tips or advice or this or beliefs before the show starts. We want it to be as real and authentic with no bias. So they're going to come in and tell you a little bit about themselves, their life journey, and their advice on how to improve your mental health with love. Audience, this is an interactive show. Please comment and ask questions as much as possible. We answer your questions live and put our guests on the spot. So if you have a question, please put it in the comments. We will check that and answer it for you. We also want to take this time to shout out a few of our followers. Thank you so much on our socials. On Facebook, Amy DeBrush Lewis. Instagram, Matthew Thomas. Thanks for follow. TikTok, Rachel Peters. And YouTube, Shattered Addict Writing. Thank you all for following us. You guys are amazing. And we love it. It helps us keep going. If you want to be a guest, we are always looking for guests. Please sign up. We're dropping the link right now. Sign up to be a guest on our show. I know you have something to share. Everyone has something to share. Let us know what you want, and we would love to have you on. You don't need any experience. It's a very basic, rudimentary podcast that we allow anyone to join. So I'd love to see you as a guest. On that note, if you're going through, this is a tough one for today. If this election has you feeling a little something and you're going through something tough and struggling, and you have a topic you want us to go over, let us know. Shoot us a topic idea. We will go out and find 3 awesome guests to give you 3 tips to helpfully get you through the tough time in life. And last but not least, obviously, if you like what we do, please send stars, subscribe, share, like, do all that fun stuff so we can keep growing and sharing our knowledge with the world. And if you like what we do, I do offer free one-on-one consultations for growth. If you want, you can check that link right now. Talk to me one-on-one. All I do is spend my entire life learning from people smarter than me. And so I can at least tell you someone smarter if you have a problem that I can't help you with. That being said, we are almost there, but we do have some sponsors we want to thank. Sponsoring this show is Rachel Greenwell. She's amazing. She helps people own your worth, your power, and potential, aligning your spiritual purpose to make a positive impact in the world. Rachel changes lives. Go check out her link and say hi. Next up, we have Samir, one of the smartest guys. Oh, man, he's a guest on our show often. Super smart, has very unique perspectives backed by science. He's a certified health and nutrition coach specializing in the prevention and reversal of chronic diseases. He's amazing. Currently pursuing a PhD in anthropology at the University of Western Cape Town, South Africa. Check out Samir. Go say hi. He's great. Next sponsor we have is Jen Gray, who's the host of the Be Genuine with Jen podcast, another great podcast. Helps small businesses thrive as the agent with benefits. Connect with her. And our last sponsor is the amazing Elle Granil, a neuroscience expert, NLP and communication pro, offers deep dive into brain function and personal transformation. Author, athlete, and founder of TrueSpeak, certified in transformational meditation. Also super, super smart. Really awesome. Go say hi to Elle and check out her page. And that will bring us to our first guest. Gonna be an awesome one. Please welcome Cray to the show. What's up, Cray?
Hi, everybody. So happy and also a little slippy to be here.
Are you a little awake now?
A little awake, yes.
Just
after
a little
warming
bit.
up.
All right. Cray, tell us who you are.
So as what it says here, I'm a certified all of that.
All of these things. Tell us in your own words. Who is Cray?
But underneath that is I am all about energy, all about alignment, all about really tapping into your inner sensitivity where we could unravel parts of you where you may have forgotten and to bring that about to your consciousness. So I'm obsessed with personal development and wellness, and that's why I'm here. And I'm a heart-centered coach, which I love, which one thing that we're going to talk about today, which is all about love. So yeah, happy to be
You
here.
ready to start talking about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I wanted to improve my mental health with love, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
So, one thing that I want to share about love is love, as LOVE means for me, is living overvalued energy. So, in terms of mental health, we are thinking, right? Our thoughts are running so fast every single time. If we charge those specific thoughts that we constantly think about every single day with specific energy or emotion that we feel, then all of the things that we do day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute will be drawn towards that. So, one of the few things that I bring in with clients is that first is become aware of your thoughts and listen and come inward and listen to a voice. There's two specific voice that we always listen into. One is your inner critic and the other one is your higher self. The higher self is the loving one that's supportive, that has all the wisdom that supports you. So that's one thing. Second is to really create a space for you to dissect your thoughts. So, how are these thoughts serving my highest good? Is this coming from a place of fear or is it coming from a place of love? So, when you get to that simple question, come into the space of the third one, which is actualization, which is how can I nourish these thoughts? If it's coming from fear, how can I love myself an inch deeper emotionally where I could feel safe and connected with my mind, body, and spirit? So that's how I really bring about into three things. So, first, what thoughts are you actually consciously thinking? Second, is it coming from a place of fear or love? Third is nourish it. Nourish it with loving ways. What is your love language? Is it through words of affirmation? Is it through acts of service? Is it through physical touch? So that's the tip that I would say for anybody who wanted to optimize their mental health.
Cray, you just dropped way too much knowledge in 2 minutes. It's above our head. We're gonna have to sit down and have a hour long conversation. But I do want to know this real quick. Where in your life journey did you learn all this?
Mm. Well, for someone, like I mentioned before, I overcome an autoimmune disease. I had a lot of ruminating thoughts, constantly running 100 miles per hour. So, one of the things that I feel all the time is overwhelmed. I'm always overwhelmed with thinking, worrying, negative thoughts. And how did I practice this is by slowing things down. And when I slow things down, the only way that I could do that is by extracting those thinking to journaling. And I learned this through books, practices that I came about through meditation. So by slowing things down, I sped things up, and I was able to really extract the ones that doesn't serve my highest good. Also, life coaches, of course, and through trainings as well, and created my own framework that works best. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Cray, I love it. We're gonna bring you back for sure, but we are gonna move on to our next guest. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Jeremy, who might be a tiny bit sweaty from his 5K, but he's here today with us. Jeremy, who
Hola,
are you?
¿cómo estás? I am a force of nature, but I am currently working as a consultant for high net men and couples. Like, how do we clean up the garbage between the two of them so that we get out of this false dichotomy of power couple and end up banging behind closed doors in not fun ways? And let's turn it into a power partnership. How can you help your partner get everything they need to thrive and make it easy for them to give you what you need to thrive? And if we're both filled, warm, big, and happy, who loses? Right? We show up better for our customers. We show up better for our clients. We show up better for our families. Like, it's just win, 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 win. So that's the game I like to play.
Okay. So you should have been hired by Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Potentially, yes. They got to such a toxic place. What I could have done though is help them exit without weaponizing and attacking each other and making each other
Okay.
wrong. And
Okay.
so the topic today of mental health and love is a perfect partnership because show me somebody who has strong mental and emotional capacity who is not also able to be and express and receive love.
I like that. That was powerful. Okay, let's keep going, Jeremy. If I wanted to improve my mental health with love, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would give you a quote from Rumi, which is ridiculously powerful. And it's this: the dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Oh, I like it.
So if you approach anything coming at you, good, bad, sideways, right? Part of my life, I'm a martial arts master. I teach falling safely for people. My mom fell, had a brain injury. So I put together this workshop when I teach people to fall. The first step when you're falling is accept the fact that you're falling. Because if you resist the fall, you stiffen up, and guess what happens? Hard, pokey things, when they hit the ground, they go crunch. And so if we accept the reality, it doesn't mean we agree with it, but if we accept the reality of the fall, we accept the reality of energy coming into our lives, oh, we suddenly gain the ability to start influencing it and guiding it. Right? What we resist will persist. When we accept it, now we gain the ability to affect change, growth, modification, adjustment, because it's like, oh, well, here, you could just slide over there now instead of no, 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 no. And so when we accept that stuff, then we can actually start to play with it. We can dance with it. We can engage with it. We can respect it and say, you know what? I appreciate the opportunity. That's not me. Have a nice day. And you are free to go. And then when it leaves, if we release it, life and love and business and everything gets easier. So when energy comes, receive it. When it's there, play with it. And when it leaves, let it go. Do those three things. And for me, that's what that quote represents is good, bad, sideways, whatever the energy feels warm, big, happy, feels small, sad, cold. It's better than nothing at all because nothing at all, you might as well be dead. So the fact you got the bad stuff, cool. What a great opportunity to learn and grow and engage. And for me, all of this came out of actually studying the martial arts because fighting is fighting's a form of communication. Here's my point. Whack. Oh, I see your point. Well, here's my counterpoint. Whack. And it's an energy exchange when people get to the most basic level. We're communicating kinesthetically. And can I handle what you're throwing at me? Can I engage with it? Can I redirect it? Can I suppress it? Can I transform it? Because in our Kung Fu system, base level, physical domination, good skill. No one should touch you without your permission. Second level, let me change your mind. You might not like me, but you can respect my point of view. But the highest level, we have an exchange of energy, conflict. But if I can change your heart, we can become friends. That's the ultimate victory. I turn my enemies into my friends. And so it's that level of engagement. You cannot resist and make wrong and tear down and character assassinate and label and diminish, because then you're taking away your ability to build bridges with this other person, with this other situation, and transform it into something greater.
Wow, Jeremy. All right. Where on your journey, your life journey, did you learn this tip?
I started Kung Fu when I was 20, and that was
What
the
a
journey,
journey
right?
that has become.
It has. It has been the greatest journey, second only to marriage and kids, which is like freaking awesome. Done
Oh,
well.
okay. All right.
Yeah, done wrong, it like crushes your soul. But done well, it's amazing.
And you're the one to tell us about it. Awesome.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Jeremy, we're going to move on to our next guest and we'll bring you out for the round robin at the end. Next up, we have Danielle. Danielle, who are you?
Hey, well, hello everybody. Okay, my name is Danielle. I'm an emotional intelligence consultant, and what I do is I teach people to who internalize their experiences and their social interactions to actually learn how to process them in a healthy way. Because sometimes we can get in our heads and we can say to ourselves, like, "Did I do something wrong? Did I cause someone to be angry or to have this negative reaction?" And so I teach people to say, really like, wait, no, 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 that's them. This is me. Let's create some distance. So that way people can really see and have a sense of like what they're responsible for and what other people do. And so how this applies to dating is essentially I teach people through their social interactions how to have more healthy, positive experiences, so that way they can find true love and not get caught up in, I don't know, chasing people, and really that whole pattern of what did I do wrong here? Why am I attracting the same person? Kind of rut that we can get ourselves into. And there's a lot of like dating coaches and things out there. And just to be transparent, I don't work with LGBT couples. I respect you and I totally support you. I'm just not an expert in that. I specialize in heterosexual couples there.
Well,
because that's just what I understand most.
that
And
sucks because our entire audience is LGBT. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
oh, wouldn't that be funny? Well, whatever. Hey, man, that's great. You could teach me something.
There you
And
go. There you go.
yes. Should I continue, or do you want to ask?
No. It's time to get to the nitty gritty, I think. Yeah,
Cool.
one more second. Okay, now we're there. Danielle, if I wanted to improve my mental health with love, what piece of advice would you give me?
So how I would go about this, particularly as it applies to dating, is to stay away from apps and to actually pursue social groups and to pursue interests and hobbies that you really enjoy, because you're going to have a way better experience. And you're going to meet much healthier people who are going to be more engaging and more stable. And in addition to that, you're going to just enjoy the activities that you do, and that will just create an overall experience of love that will attract not just a romantic partner, but friendships and opportunities that you're going to love. So that's what I would recommend.
All right. Next question. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
Through my own dating journey.
The
So,
trial by fire, fail till you succeed. All right.
yeah, hell
We
yeah,
could go real deep into this one, I feel like.
I know, right? Well, it's like there's so many things, and all of my friends from college found their significant others on a dating app. So that works for some people.
Interesting.
Not me, right? I needed to figure out that I needed to put my. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I just agreed with you. I said not me either.
Yeah, no. So to me, that was like the most fun way to do it. And you know what? If I find someone great, if you find someone great, but you won't have lost anything because you're having a great time no matter what.
All right. That's a good perspective. All right. Anything else you want to add before we move to the round robin?
So, like I said, I am an emotional intelligence coach and I work with people holistically. If you're interested in a one-to-one chat, you can follow up with me on Facebook or Instagram at Danielle Blackmore.
Real quick, we'll drop this again. There you go. There's her Facebook. Go follow her, even if you're perfect emotional intelligence. I don't think that exists. All right, Danielle, we're going to bring everyone else out and start our round robin. Audience, this is a great time to ask questions if you have them, which I assume you will. Let's start with Cray. Cray, can you revisit what your tip was, refresh our memory of what your tip was?
Yeah, so as I was associating mental health and love is by really consciously becoming aware of your thoughts. Are they coming from a place of fear or are they coming from a place of love? And then when you come about with that statement or conclusion, go on to your love languages. How can you nourish these thoughts? When you have this mindset of how can I feel love in this moment? Is it through words of affirmation? Is it through acts of service? Is it through physical touch? So, how can you nourish this inner critic and your higher self, which is the version of you that's always supporting, which is the wisest part of your being that really creates that expansive, conscious way of showing up in different areas of your lives? I mean, as everybody was talking about dating, I always say this to my client: date with an intention. And when you live overvalued energy, you don't go out there just to look for someone, but you go out there having this intention. I want to feel loved. I want to be loved. So first it has to come from you. Are you fully aware of what does that means for you? Was it what does love feels for you? So by understanding that and becoming aware of your fearful thoughts versus your loving thoughts, and then actualize it through the ways of your love languages, I think it'll be easier for you to thread through different areas of your life or your goals, perhaps. Even in business, we get triggered at some points when we are unconsciously projecting ourselves from those fearful thoughts. So,
Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Cray's tip?
Yeah. The idea that going into dating like you're looking for something to get will keep you in a hunting, hurting, transactional frame. When you go out to experience yourself more fully, it's like, oh, I love myself with these other people. I love how I'm showing up with. As you enjoy yourself in the moment with, it's like, oh, this person is expanding what's already there inside me. Maybe I should follow this further. Like, we got to change that perspective, right? It's like I listen to couples, they talk about give and take, and I'm like, but is that sustainable versus give and receive? Because if you're giving and taking from each other over time versus giving and receiving, while making it available, my wife is free to choose or not choose. I don't need her to choose. I want her to choose, but I don't need her to. And that like changes the tension and it makes it more open and playful for both of us. It's like, nah, it's cool. You wanna do the thing? Cool. All right. Woo. So like completely agree. Knowing what lights you up, totally important.
Danielle, what are your thoughts on Cray's tip?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very true, and it kind of hits the nail on the head where it's like really about self-love. And to me, like what I'm hearing from her and like what I'm hearing her saying is that it's almost like allowing someone to meet you in the love that you already have for yourself. And a part of that is becoming aware through your thoughts, and really anchoring that in so that way you can identify it and see that outside of you and say, you know what, this feels like a really good fit. And this is almost like something that we would have in common then is this person loves themselves and I love myself. So let's come together.
yeah.
I love it. All right,
Add on to
Jeremy,
that.
Jeremy, refresh what your tip was for us.
Yeah, it was the Rumi quote, the dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
The old through struggle comes strength idea.
Kind of, yeah. Like totally.
Danielle, what are your thoughts on his tip?
Well, I love Rumi, and it reminds me of one of his other poems that just reminds me of the one that you're referring to, which is I think it's called The House, where it's just having that like awareness to see things come and go, or like, malice, shame, emotions come in and out. And I think that's just a really good approach to one's mental health, and honestly a good metaphor for dating experiences, because everyone's had like a really like hurricane type of lover come in and like ruin their life, but it's so important to get right, come on, like it's real.
And everyone just had the image of them run through their mind and go, what the fuck was I thinking?
But how powerful to get to a point where it doesn't ruin you and you're like, yeah, okay, that happened, right, on to the next one, because that's all, to find the right person, that's what you have to do.
All right, we are going to pause these responses because we have questions from the audience. This is for anyone. Some young love question. In your perspective, what does love mean to a 20-year-old?
Depends on the 20-year-old.
Oh, man, that's a easy cop-out answer, Jeremy. Let's get down into it.
Well, we talking a guy or a girl? We talking someone who has a wounded past? They're trying to find love to validate and fill an empty, gaping hole? Or are we talking someone looking at 20 years old to go and contribute to the growth and expansion of another soul?
Man, that was the answer.
I'm all context. Like I'm all context. Like what does it mean to a 20-year-old? It can mean bumping uglies and banging it out all night and get up and hit as many things as you can. It depends on the person, right? And not that there's any shame in any of those needs, wants, drives, desires. They are where they are in their journey. There will be consequences depending on how you play, and diseases and pregnancies, and there's all kinds of fun things that can happen. But to shy away from any of it and bury our heads and say no, abstinence, or only until marriage, or only until whatever, it ignores the reality of life, and people are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to justify it how they're going to justify it. So let's engage with all the questions.
Let me ask that a little more pointed. I think if you're 20 years old, can you experience and do you know what true love is? And we're talking romantically. Obviously, when love in your family and all that, hopefully. But I mean, at 20, are you old enough to know what a lifetime with a true love is?
So can I actually interject here because I'm close to 20. I'm 32. So I feel like I just exited that and I can really relate to being, trying to find love in your 20s. And I would say it's really difficult because there's a perception that like love is you just have these amazing feelings and you meet someone and you're like, this could be the one. But then it's like you don't realize that you might have to go through this big arc of like meeting a bunch of people that actually teach you what you like and what you don't like. So I would say love in your 20s is just finding the love in your journey and where you're at, and trusting that you'll meet someone, but it could be a little rough.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would recommend anyone finding lifelong partners at 20. I think you have a
Well,
lot of self-learning to have. Go ahead.
I would say I like where you're going with that. It really comes down to, are you dating in your 20s or are you relationshiping in your 20s? Because if you're dating, hey, let's go do an activity together, and do I like myself and do I like you, and what part of me is showing up that I like in this experience? Like, that's a lot of education. I have a young client that just got on board, and she's going through a divorce, and it's like, did you date a lot? Well, I had a new relationship every year of high school. Okay, so you relationship, you didn't date. What about your soon-to-be ex-husband? Did he date a lot? Well, he had one relationship before me. Okay, so his confidence has changed in the last however many years you've been married, and he's grown as a person, realizing, oh, I glommed onto this person, but now that I've grown and shifted, like, we have to interject. Forebrain controls the ability to think consequences, and it doesn't integrate for women until like mid 20s, but guys early to mid 30s. So maturity is a long, slow process. It's not, okay, you're 18, you're mature, go get it. It's like, nah, not necessarily, bro.
So if you're a guy in your low to mid 30s, you should be going for, mid 20 women. Got it. That was all I heard.
That's fine. You are where you are.
That's all I heard. That's it. All right.
Well,
All right. Let's move on to another question here. All right. We've got a question from Zafira. How can I practice more patience and understanding toward my partner?
Okay. I really like this question. I think our partners is the mirror of ourselves or the things that we may have overlooked about ourselves. So, in practicing patience, and I would actually interconnect this with Brian, oh no, what's the name? With our fellow guest about transmuting that energy. Like, patience is what are the things that you're tolerating about yourself that you allow or enable this person to project onto you? And what are the parts of you that you may have been unconsciously projecting towards your partner that you don't know, that you are actually putting it on him, blaming on him without you taking the responsibility? I would bring in the braving leadership from Brene Brown. It is really being vulnerable in a space of, I feel uncomfortable right now and I feel impatient right now. By honoring that, it is you allowing that I'm feeling unconsciously projecting something onto you. So you don't have to impose that you have to be patient, but you are actually being open wholeheartedly in a loving space with your partner, opening that sense of belongingness that I want to co regulate with you right now. So, can you make space for me? So, I would invite someone, instead of thinking practicing patience, more of how can I be more or less guarded in this moment and be courageous enough to be more loving with myself at the same time with my partner, so we could both co-regulate together or co-create together, and how can we understand from the level of consciousness that we are in or exchanging. So that's something that I would invoke someone if they're practicing patience or understanding. Because
I really,
sometimes in the heat of the moment, like you don't really think. You don't really think, you just react.
I
All
really
right.
like what.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Daniel. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Daniel.
Okay, I was going to say I really like what Cray is saying about putting your heart on the line in that relationship because it's tough when we get triggered. And I just wanted to add that it might be helpful as well just to practice non-judgment and trying not to change the other person, because when we get so close, oh, Austin's like, before I continue, what made you get so excited when I said that?
Oh, nothing. We'll talk about it. Finish your thought.
All I was going to say is, like, I think part of why we can get so frustrated and lose our patience and understanding with the other person is that, like, we subconsciously don't realize that we're trying to change them, and they're like, they keep doing the same thing. Like, this grinds my gears. And it's like, okay, like, I said it, their actions haven't changed. And the next step is not to continue saying the same thing when they're not changing. It's like, okay, I accept. And they'll either change because they want to or they won't.
Well, or it's meeting what they're doing is meeting their needs as they're understanding it right now, and so just change the approach, right? With my people, first step, take a deep breath, soften the tension in your body, because that whole judgmental moving away from patience and understanding, cool, you're activating your fight or flight system, you're getting ready to throw down. Take a deep breath, slow down, pull back into rest and digest, right? Sympathetic system, we're gonna like stress response. Parasympathetic, we're going to pause, we're going to slow down, and just that deep breath and go, wait a minute, my partner is telling me XYZ, somehow this is real for them, it's true for them, it means something to them that I'm not understanding, so let me get curious. And if you start asking questions to understand them and go, help me make sense of this because I'm not following it, and the instant you ask for the coaching or the feedback, you put yourself in a position of inferiority and a power dynamic, blah, blah, blah. But you're making yourself open to the feedback. It's easier to understand them and get to that result versus they're doing it wrong. And you know what it's like to be judged. 3-finger salute, read between the lines, right? And it's F you, gonna judge me. So it's like, it's cool. I know what that feels like. So help me understand. I really want to get this because I'm tired of this fight. I want to have a new and more interesting fight, not the same old ones. So let's be done with this. Please tell me more.
All right. So I'm going to lead this into our next question as well. So essentially what we're talking about now is like liminal thinking, right? So you have the ideal example is you have an elephant in a room and 3 blind guys. One guy's holding the tail, says, oh, this is a rope. One guy's holding the ear and he's like, this is a big fan. And one guy's holding, one of the legs. He's like, no, this is like a big tree. And then they all argue with each other, right? It's similar in relationships. You're asking someone to keep changing their behavior, and they may be holding the rope going, why do they keep asking me to, cut this tree down or whatever? And so a lot of it in my life of beautiful advice is clear communication. But with liminal thinking, it's hard to know, even if you're being clear, if your partner and this goes everywhere, your business partner, roommate, housemate, mom, dad, if their reality is so different from your reality, right? You're holding an ear versus a tail and you're asking them to do things that they're like, how the hell does this happen? Then that's where a lot of conflict can come because all of our realities are so different. So on that note, we're going to go to our next question. Do you think seeing a psychiatrist can help when trying to improve your relationship, and how can a third person help?
I believe this is something that I always tell to one of my clients is exhaust all of the options and go into a conclusion of which tools or ways that I have done so far that work best for us. What tool or which avenue or medium or someone that could help us or set us up to success. Because in partnership, it's like a teamwork. Everyone is imperfect, everyone is carrying their own internal belief. So if you have a third person to really see a different angle of which one is your blind spot, or which one are you not seeing, or which one are you interpreting based on your core belief system or your old outdated belief system that's making you both clash, I believe it's so helpful to have someone to have that non-biased judgment or perspective on how can you both connect deeper from what you only see or through that lens of each other. So it would invoke more critical thinking or also deepening that connection to go an inch deeper to understanding each other what you may have not yet explored. So third person is great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cray. We are going to another question real quick.
I believe we all have soulmates. So many of them.
How many soulmates do you get, Cray? How many?
I have soul friend. I have I have
Yeah,
soul
like
family.
Soul
think
dog, soul
about
cat.
think about somebody who's going to help grow you and expand you, and that may be through love and it may be through conflict. Like the
Yeah.
idea that soulmates, like, oh, we're just going to meet each other and it's going to be kismet and there never will be any ever resistance or friction or growth or anything required ever. Nah, that's a child's fantasy. That's a little baby who wants someone to tuck them in at night. That's not real. Real is life happens. What are we going to do about it? And it's that we do about it. So that idea of soulmates is the idea of people in your life who grow you and challenge you and expand you for various betterment over the long term. And it may be an intimate partner that stays with you forever. And it may be a passionate affair that like drives realities into you and you realize I'm violating so much of who and what I am. I can't do this. And it forces you to pivot into becoming a higher version of yourself. Like it's really complicated and messy. Welcome to life. It's full contact.
Yeah, I also agree in in the concept of soulmates, but I think kind of like what Jeremy was saying is I think it can like distract from the reality, which is like, maybe you do have a soulmate, but it doesn't mean that this is going to be your life partner and everything is perfect.
Okay.
Like you still have to learn and grow and
Yeah.
actually have like skills as a human and learn who you are and, kind of match the reality of like, does this not feel right to me, even though I had this exciting feeling and I feel like this is a soulmate? You have to kind of make sure that like you're still living in alignment with you and your truth.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you can't just find a soulmate and just sit back and everything's perfect at that point.
Yeah.
I wish. Well, maybe you can. Maybe some people do, right? And they do.
Ooh, that's a good
But
soulmate.
maybe, but maybe it
I
takes
mean,
time and effort to find and whittle away that stuff to go, oh, this is my person, but I had to kind of go on these other adventures to realize, oh, but that never would have been somebody like my wife is way too young for me and I'm way too old for her, but it works because I'm immature. Right? Like when we met, I had a
Perfect.
floor. I'm not going lower than, and she was way lower than. And then she wasn't going above and I was way above. And it was like, how the hell's this work? But like, you're really fascinating. Tell me more. Like, dude. Like that was a cool experience.
I would hope so. You married her after it. All right, we
I
got
did.
one last. Oh man, we are running out of time. We got one last little comment, and then we're gonna come up with our daily challenge. So we're gonna move fast through this. One of you take this, respond to it, and then we'll go to our challenge.
Fear. F everything and run. Face everything and rise. So take a deep breath. Fear. What is fear? What's the gift in fear? When you ask that question, fear will start to give you answers. And fear is usually around being more sensitive. It's about the thing I'm doing really freaking matters and I don't want to get it wrong. But by being so associated to the things we don't want, it makes it more likely to happen because now we're hedging and we're terrified and I don't want to make a mistake. And breathe, let it flow. What do you really want? And how can we remove the resistance to actually letting it happen?
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jeremy. All right, team, we have work to do. It is time for our daily challenge. We must come with something to improve our mental health with love that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to everyone in the world from Australia to Scotland. What ideas do you have?
I'm sure
I got
you all
one.
do.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's super easy if you have a mirror. Is you're just gonna look in the mirror with the biggest freaking goofy ass smile you can imagine. And just stare in your own eyeballs with the biggest, most ridiculous, goofiest smile because looking into your eyes stimulates your mirror neurons. There's someone looking at me and they're happy. It makes you feel happy. And then when you
Ooh.
raise your face and stimulate these muscles, it releases endorphins and neurotransmitters and serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin. It makes you feel good. So you look in the mirror for 5 minutes with the goofiest freaking smile and just stare into your own eyes. It costs you no dollars, but it gives you such a huge hormone spike. It's awesome. I had to do it when I had lived in Ohio. I had seasonal affective disorder in the winter.
Yeah,
So I had to do that as a priming. Yeah, I had to do that as a prime to like get my hormones to shift. And I've been down in Florida now for 3 years, and it's the weirdest thing not to get all hormonally goofy in the late fall, early winter. It's like, I feel amazing. It's so weird. I like it.
I definitely want to see you hormonally goofy. Any other thoughts on the Cray, you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would actually invite someone to explore their love language. I think that's the first step. And then throughout
Okay.
every day, it's like a menu. Okay, today let me try words of affirmation. Do I feel icky when I say I love you to myself in front of the mirror, like how Jeremy's saying? Or
All
do I
right. All right.
feel still uncomfortable in saying, I'm so proud of you? Does that creates like an inner critic, or does it come up for you? Is the fearful thought still coming up? So explore that every single day, and repetition is the key to reprogramming. So if you do that every single day and you see your pattern, say for example a pattern of, oh no, I feel like I'm not good enough, say it over and over again. Words are powerful. You're like hypnotizing yourself basically. Whatever you say, you perceive, you believe. And at the same time, words are your spirit's initiator. So when you speak it with conviction, with emotion and energy into it in front of the mirror, becomes like a ripple effect for you to see that parts of you that you're still unconsciously rejecting. And you will remember you actually truly love yourself, that you are enough and you are worthy and you're loving and you're all that is. So that's something that I would invite someone to do every single day.
I love
Mhm.
that. Stare in the mirror with a big grin and practice a words of or a love language. So
And a last thing that I just want to tack on there is
yeah,
maybe in the morning with a cup of coffee, just writing down some qualities that you love about yourself as well.
or qualities you love about your future potential partner.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would
Nice.
Actually,
Yeah.
start with
yeah.
you.
It did. Because those are the things that you would be scripting out, if you think about it. Like you would be consciously becoming aware of that you're
So
It's
familiar
I'm
with.
difficult
gonna.
to give. It's difficult to give what you don't have. So if you make sure you have it first, then it's easier to give it out. If you're in a place of deficit, very hard to you end up demanding from other people fill my holes, and like that's never a great strategy for anything sustainable. So filling your own cup, then you have it to give from a place of abundance. So yeah, totally. All three of us together do it as one thing, and your life will never be the same.
Look at that.
So I changed it to write down a core value. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah. It's
That's
actually
good.
So
core.
a
Yeah,
core
that's better.
value is something that
Yeah.
you would like about yourself, and I would assume most people want that core value in their partner as well. So if you're able to be like, "Yo, my core value is honesty," all right, let's make sure I practice that. Let's be honest, and then I also want to make sure that my partner is there too, etc., etc. And if we don't know our core values or the things that are important to us, it's really hard to be in a relationship.
Should probably hire a
Okay.
consultant or coach.
A coach sultant.
Coach
All right.
consultant. There you go.
All right, guys, we officially have our daily challenge. Our work is done for the day. Thank you so much. You all were great
Oh yeah.
guests. I'm going to put you all backstage for now and wrap this up. And thank you, audience. What great questions you guys had. Man, that was fantastic. Hopefully, you all enjoyed your episode. We watched Millionaires Are Made. This was mental health and love. How to improve your mental health with love. We had tons of tidbits dropped. If you didn't watch that whole episode, go back and watch it, or at least listen to it on Spotify or Apple or however